Got it.
He's got it.
I got it, guys.
Here we
Jordan.
go.
Welcome and Merry Christmas. This is episode 38 of the Chocolate Croissants podcast. We are all back together in my apartment. I haven't seen these guys Justin's my brother. I saw you at dinner on Tuesday. It was a very good dinner. I shared 3 appetizers and 3 entrees with 2 other people. Matt, Merry Christmas to that.
Yo.
Matt, I haven't seen you in many months. I missed you, and it's wonderful to have you here. And it's Christmas, and we're Jewish, and this is just wonderful.
Wonderful Christmas time.
In this episode, it will just be the 3 of us as friends who haven't seen each other in some time, catching up. We talk about what we've accomplished in the past year, what we're excited or energized about for the next year, and I apologize to Incubus. And if that's going to be the selling point, there is a heartfelt apology that I personally send out to the band Incubus. That is what you have in store for episode 38. We are very grateful to our official sponsor, Rode Microphone, Rode.com. They literally got the URL Rode.com.
RODE though.
Yes. Oh yeah, there is other roads out there, right?
Yeah.
What does ROAD.com go to?
I don't know. I've never been there, but it
Justin,
probably...
go to that right now.
I bet
check.
you it
Let me
leads
check.
somewhere. Get it?
Oh my God. See, this is the value we bring.
Hit the bells.
For 38 episodes of Chocolate Croissants, we can only go up from here. So where does ROAD go
Please
to?
make a note that the Trimble Mobile resource management page has moved to trimble.com/GPS.
It already sounds awful. So RODE.com is where you want to go. We are using the Procaster microphones when Matt is on tour.
It takes you to trimble.com.
Man, shut the fuck up. When Justin and I are doing things on location, or we use the NT USB mics, RODE.com. They have been our official sponsor since before episode 1, and we are very much grateful to them. And check them out. Episode 38, it is with me, it is with Justin, it is with Matt. We are together again. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas.
And now you'll hear us talking again as this intro leads into the episode.
Boom, chicky, boom, 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 bada boom.
Happy New Year. Simply having Matt.
A wonderful Christmas time.
Thank you, Jordan.
Merry Christmas,
Ow!
everyone.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah, Chrismica. That's
You
what
ever watch The OC?
Yeah, I know what it's from.
Oh my God, that's the best.
Absolutely. Seth and his
Seth.
Chrismica.
Yes, I'm gonna go back and watch that.
Fuck you guys. I hate this already.
Come on.
So it's Merry Christmas, right? Today's
It's not
Christmas.
No, it's
Today's
I guess
Christmas,
today when
man.
it gets released, it'll be Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
You
Today's
guys have had
Christmas.
your Hanukkah. Let's leave that in the past.
Jordan, did you have Hanukkah?
You know what? I found out that it was night 1 of Hanukkah that night from the local news.
If you had to describe my socks in...
Blue, white, dreidels, stars, menorah. I described them in one
Do
word.
you have one pair of
Perfect.
shoes, Matt?
No, I have lots, but these are just the ones that I've been wearing for as long as I can.
He's a
'Cause
canvasy, flat shoe kind of guy.
I like to wear my shoes into the ground, literally.
Welcome back, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome
It's
home.
been a long time since we've done this.
8 weeks-ish.
Ish.
And it's been
Yes.
that long since I've seen you in the flesh.
Yep, but what's more important is you haven't seen Tyson. for
That's what
that
I was
long.
thinking. Welcome back, Tyson.
Didi, man.
He
Welcome
says,
back.
He says roof.
Roof, roof.
He's simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
He
So-
is.
We just recorded like a 5-minute intro, and then only one of our mics were soloed. So are we just gonna like retread what we had in this conversation?
Well, sure. You guys asked me about where the tour started, and I said Columbus, Ohio on Halloween, and then I told you that we didn't dress up because it was the first day of tour and there was just too much other stuff going on.
I still don't think that's a good excuse.
You can go watch it on, France or something on YouTube. You can watch a video where they dressed up on Halloween.
Yeah. There was a tour where everybody wore corpse paint, and that was like the one time that we were festive for a holiday on stage. But it's the United Colors of Benetton on stage with Periphery.
More importantly, Jordan, did you dress up on Halloween?
Yeah, I guess no. So I don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
But I also wasn't like hosting 1,000 people.
No. But I liked what I said before about the fact that like I think some of our fans either dressed up as girls or there were actual girls at the show. I'm not sure which is which, but hey, I'll take it either way.
Okay.
It's good. We're trying to expand into the female audience, you know, a little bit at least. Like girls shouldn't be afraid to come to Periphery.
Is there a
shows.
strategy 2018 Periphery needs some more fans of the other sex?
Well, we all have like girlfriends or wives, so they should just know that like we're not scary people, you know? So like they shouldn't be afraid to come to the shows, and like our fans are pretty nice. And they're not going to like, you know,
Beat you up in the mosh
hit
pit.
on them or like beat up on them and stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
But I don't think we're really playing shows in 2018. So, you know, there's that.
So
Have you been public with that yet?
Don't know.
Are we breaking news right now?
I
do
mean,
that noise again.
I don't know if it's definite that we're not, but we're going to be working on music.
But you have big plans for 2018.
Yeah, we're working on music. Writing new stuff, you know, it's time for a new record. at
Host
some
another
point.
camp.
Hosting another camp, which is very exciting. That'll be in July. And
Can we come?
Totally. You've been there before. You know where it is. Full
I know.
Moon.
We
Yeah.
should do a podcast from there.
Come up.
We've discussed that many times.
Why don't you guys come?
Yeah, we're in.
Just come up. I'll make sure that
Add that to the promo video.
Amy gets you a room.
Okay.
Amy Full Moon.
Amy Full Moon, what's up?
So, are the meet and greet table at the holiday party this weekend?
I still don't understand that. Like, you're just having friends over. Like, nobody wants to meet and greet you. Let's be real here.
Wait,
But no, so
did we talk about the holiday party yet on this portion or the one that got lost?
No,
It was-
this is now us retreading. So I'm having my second annual holiday party this upcoming weekend. This year it's presented by 1990 Mariah Carey.
Is she going to be here? Because that's meet and greet table worthy.
Well, what did you feel? Last year's was the inaugural, and it was presented by Alicia Keys.
Well, that was great. She did an amazing job. It still boggles my mind that you had Alicia Keys here.
You got a piano up here.
Well, that's what I do for the Jordan holiday parties. But 1990 Mariah Carey, that's like another level because not only am I, advertising per se a musical legend, but from a specific era and time and place.
What was going on in that era of Mariah Carey?
That was Vision of Love.
And that was like when she had real curly hair and was wearing those like light faded jeans.
It's like our mom.
Right. I always saw our mom in her, right?
Very much so.
But I don't know
agree.
if that's because we were like 5 years old and just had like, shapes and forms are not that clear at that time.
I don't know, man. I was 3, and I think of the fantasy era.
Matt, what's your, that song's made a cultural comeback. I think it's one of those 20-year cycles.
Yeah,
Everything's
absolutely.
new again.
Yeah.
Matt, what's your earliest memory?
Of Mariah Carey?
Well, let's start there and then work backwards.
My earliest memory of Mariah Carey is just that she hits the highest notes of any female singer that I've ever heard.
You got to feel that emotion.
That ballad Hero, I remember that from elementary school. And
What's the song that's like...
Emotion, sweet emotion.
I think so.
You've got to feel the emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she takes that.
Yeah, it's like...
As all of you can see, I just pointed my finger up to the air.
I'm so deaf now from playing music on loud stages that I don't even think I could hear that pitch anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, I constantly ask people, like, what did you say? All the time.
That's not hearing loss, Matt.
I don't know. I think it is.
All right, and then go back to Jordan's question. Now, your earliest memory.
Wait, I didn't finish my thought. So Hero, that ballad, I remember that in elementary school. That was like the first time I was aware of that trick of in the last chorus, like shifting a key.
You hate
for
that.
dramatic effect. I hate that so much.
I mean...
Has
Periphery
Periphery
do
ever
that?
done that?
I don't know. Like...
Oh, yeah. On the next album, every last chorus will be
You guys should just use
shifted.
like every pop songwriting gimmick there is.
All right, I'm just going to do
Spencer can do it. I've
gonna-
heard him sing Since You've Been Gone.
I'm going to do what Jordan does all the time and just be like, fuck you guys. Can we move on?
Merry Christmas.
All right, Merry Christmas.
All right. So what
anyway.
have you guys been doing over the past 7 weeks? So
Jordan's been on some trips.
Jordan,
For work?
you went to Philadelphia and New York for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, this past weekend, it was our biggest pay-per-view of the year.
You also
And
took
then
someone to Boston Market.
I did. James Musselwhite from the UK. Portrait of a Wrestler is his deal. He's a great guy. Everyone from the UK is cool. Our biggest pay-per-view was in New York on Friday, and then we did a TV taping the next night in Philly. Both were historic wrestling venues, and it's been great, man.
What were the numbers like for that pay-per-view? Like, how many people actually paid to view?
That's a good question. I think it's too soon to get that.
Can you guess?
I know, and even still, like, these aren't public figures that we release, so I would never. But it was the fastest sellout in Final Battle history. And obviously, like, we sell out the Hammerstein Ballroom, like, seems like every time we go, and I think it's close to 2,000 people. But is the fastest that we have sold it out, which was really cool.
How many people fit in the Hammerstein Ballroom?
The way we set it up, it's about 2,000. I've noticed that when we've run music venues, like we've done Stage AE in Pittsburgh and Express Live in Columbus, it seems like it's about 1,000 less than capacity for concerts because we put a ring where the GA floor would be.
Did you like Stage AE?
Loved it. We're going back in April.
We played there on this tour. It's a good venue.
Really good. Really good. And what I actually noticed in the Philly venue too, and Stage AE does it, like venues are now creating smaller, like, quote, club stages. Mm-hmm. And that's where we set up the merch. But I think it's smart. And Columbus, or Express Live in Columbus, their stage can be set up in each direction, and the garage door for load-in, like if you face out, there's like a mini amphitheater set up with like a grass lawn. They're owned by the same company, whoever that is.
You expressed that since you were little, I think, since Monday Night Raw was in the Hammerstein Ballroom, that you've always wanted to go there for a wrestling show.
Well, it wasn't in the Hammerstein Ballroom. It was in the same building, the Manhattan Center.
It was on a different floor?
The Grand Ballroom is on the 7th floor, but I got to take a tour of that, and that was really cool.
Okay. So you expressed that you've always wanted to go there to see wrestling, and that it was surreal, I don't think that was the word used, but maybe surreal to be there for wrestling, specifically for what you were actually doing, working it. Not just being a part of the show. Was there a moment that you took back to like reflect or express gratitude of just, whoa, what the fuck? I'm here, and I'm here to work, and I'm part of the show?
Honestly, that's how I try to live my life, of giving myself these moments throughout any experience to just take a breath and to take it in and to like just create some space between like me actually doing the work in the moment and then also just being aware of, wow, this is my life right now, and what a dream for me today, but what a dream for the 13-year-old in me.
Did you have expectations going into it, and were they met? Were they exceeded?
Not really. At the same time, what made it hard to be present was that there were 5 different things, like at any given moment, being thrown at me of, hey, Jordan, this needs to get done, and we need you to do it. So it's they like to use the word, it's a very dynamic business, and that's a soft way of putting it. So I had a lot of responsibility and high-pressure things that needed to get done in the moment, whether that was facilitating like a Facebook Live, facilitating or coordinating between the talent and getting portraits for a new website or getting video content for something in the future, whether that was handling stuff with a charity that I took part in, or even at one point with the State Athletic Commission having to coordinate things like that. I mean, there was so many things coming at me. But at the same time, the intro of the show, that actually is the one time where I was like, I'm going to sit down and take it in. So we had the intro video. This is the start of going live on pay-per-view. We had Fire, which was new for our production. I took that in and I sat down and I was like, I want to enjoy this moment. And that was really cool.
That's great. Good for you.
Thanks, man. It feels good.
You should live your life like that.
Yeah, I feel like we barely got to speak the week of it. I think I was in finals week, and we didn't speak much. But then it dawned on me that was the weekend, and I asked you, "Hey, are you pumped? Whatever, something or other. I need to watch."
Saturday morning, I'm in my hotel room. You're asking for my login so you could watch it for free, and I'm like, like, for what? And you're like, I want to watch Final Battle tonight. I was like, yo, I'm going to Philly now. Like, Final Battle was last night.
Yeah, it didn't dawn on me. And I think I had a conversation with another friend of ours, and we both thought it would be Saturday night. It just didn't make any sense to have the pay-per-view, big pay-per-view Friday night. Is it always Friday night?
Ring of Honor is always Friday night for pay-per-views.
So now I know for future reference. And I still need to go back and watch it. And I think you still want to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I watched the first match and the last match just to kind of get the vibe of the production. I'd be happy to watch the whole thing again.
So maybe we'll set that up before the holiday party.
Yeah, Christmas.
Fuck yeah.
That could be cool.
Do you have any relationships, new relationships that you formed aside from, I think you said James from the UK? Who you took on the next night to the same Boston market that you and I went to?
Yeah, and he was asking about Chuck E. Cheese. Matt, when's the last time you went to a Chuck E. Cheese? Actually, it's a Chuck E. Cheese's.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to a Chuck E.
Oh,
Cheese.
come on.
Come on, man. As a kid?
Did you see in the Bitcoin craziness that a dude in New York got arrested for selling? And Carly had said this.
I did
She's
see
like, we
that.
should sell Chuck E. Cheese's coins as Bitcoin. She's like, let's
saw
invest
that.
in that and sell those. And someone got arrested for selling $1 million worth of Chuck E. Cheese's coins as Bitcoin.
I
saw
love
that.
that.
That's incredible.
I love that.
Yeah. I saw that headline and just kind of chuckled.
Maybe that should be like the part of the new year, new you, Matt. We'll take him to Chuck E. Cheese's.
I don't know. That place just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Because the animatronics?
Or the cleanliness of a ball pit.
Both.
The cheese
and, like,
pizza.
I've just heard too many jokes about, like, you know, things that are unsavory at Chuck E. Cheese's.
All right, let's
That's
go.
part of the charm, though.
Right.
I don't
Dude,
think
look at
there's
that
anything
mouse.
charming about, like, predators at Chuck E. Cheese's.
Jesus Christ, Matt. Okay, so, I don't know. Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Did you form any relationships, any new relationships?
Oh, that's where we were. Yeah, with the talent, because now the talent are. This is now my third tour with them, so my face is more familiar. They realize I'm just like not some dude who's gonna come and then like flake out after a tour, and I feel confident that I'm adding value to the organization. So it's been good.
Have you been focused on networking?
Yeah, because I mean it's a business of relationships, like the music business is as well. It's not that dissimilar. And yeah, I've noticed that obviously with every talent, it's individual, and having individual relationships. What makes me feel good is that some of them are starting to come to me for advice and consultation on like their own personal branding. You know, like, hey, how should I be using my Instagram? Should I be including like, you know, pictures of my family or not? Things like that. And I think it's a case by case basis. But I think it makes me feel good that they're seeing the value that I can bring not only to the organization, but to the individual artists as well.
And do you think you're actually making friends with these people?
I'm not looking at it that way because I'm not there to make friends necessarily. Now, put it this way, I think collaborations work best when there's a good rapport and there's good trust, and those are foundations of friendships. But the way that I'm framing it is I'm not there to socialize and to make friends. I'm there for business, and who knows what comes of it. But the business is the context through which I'm framing these relationships.
How do you balance the social platform in allowing the wrestler to be unique in themselves, but also convey the character or persona that they portray in wrestling?
I mean, I think the best wrestling characters comes from truth within that human being playing the character. You know, if I were to give advice or if I were to be more active in a creative role within the company, I'd like to sit down with these human beings who play wrestling characters and kind of poke and prod and help figure out what their core motivations are as human beings wanting to be a pro wrestler as a profession. So I say, yo, like, what the fuck happened to you when you were 8 years old, for instance, that now makes you wake up every morning desiring most to become Ring of Honor World Champion? Like, that's core motivation, and I think that's a good place to start when developing character.
So I just want to go back to what you were saying before. I don't think there's anything wrong with your approach to keep it business and to be there for that reason versus developing friendships. But what you're talking about now seems like a great foundation for building a true relationship with the wrestlers and with the talent. And the reason sorry, I just broke your pen. I didn't mean
God.
to. Sorry. The reason I was asking about
That's the last pen I'm allowed in 2017, man.
I'll get you a new one. It's fine.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. The reason I was asking is because a lot of the best relationships that I've been able to foster really either started in business and then I became friends with these people, or I started as friends and then we started working together. And it seems like even some of the most successful people that I know in the industries, that I've worked within, like the people that always do the coolest shit have so many good friends, and everybody is like who's in that network is also someone that they work with.
Totally. And I think, you coming to my holiday party last year was a testament to how many friendships I've made just through music in general.
Yeah.
Not only that, how long I've been able to maintain them. It's a lot of people there hadn't seen each other in like 8 years.
Right.
But yet I was this facilitator of keeping in touch with all these people. I understand what you're saying. For me, I don't think it would necessarily be healthy or attractive to management or the talent at Ring of Honor for me to come into it with a leading motivator to make friends there.
No.
I think it can be a healthy byproduct.
Yeah, totally. I don't think it should be your focus.
No, it comes with time.
Yeah, it comes
over
with time.
You'll just develop those natural relations. Same thing as Matt is saying. I'm sure it wasn't instantly the people that you were doing business with that you guys became great friends. But the more personal, at a personal level, you take the business and you start to open up with one another about fears and desires and wants for the business as well as personal goals, then it starts to become more personal.
And I think in this business and just any entertainment business in general, you're gonna get a lot of people that kind of get into it because either they want like to kind of feel like a star by becoming friends with these quote stars, and I think that's easy to sniff out, and it's really unattractive. I don't need that, and I don't want others to perceive me as that being a motivation of mine either.
I don't think they will, and I don't, and that definitely wasn't what I was suggesting. I was just making sure that you were open to the idea of letting those natural friendships develop.
Absolutely.
Instead of saying, "Oh, look, like I'm not gonna let this get to that place because I'm only here for work."
Totally. And I think it's not even only in this, but in general, I can see in the past maybe me falling into those traps of wanting something more out of a quote business relationship, and then maybe if the other person on the other end isn't interested, and just say you're texting back and forth, and when you're texting someone and it's more the relationship has a business context, sometimes you could take it more into a personal thing, like, so how was your weekend, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe the person on the other end doesn't want to go there, and then you could feel rejected in some way. And for me, it's kind of like, I'd like to go into it of I'm not expecting anything from anyone else, and then like anything more is a nice surprise instead of feeling let down. I
guess be open to the potential development of a friendship if someone you're working with is open to it as well.
Absolutely.
And I think you are. But maybe that's just advice for people that are listening to in a work environment. Like if you are open to that and other people are too, I think you can probably build some good connections, good relationships that way.
I think there's an interesting point to be made here that Jordan is working on a different side than what the talent is currently doing. And so it would be different if Jordan came in as a contemporary, a peer, an equal to the talent, then developing relationships as friends would probably be really important because the strength in numbers idea and bouncing ideas off each other and working together to further your own career, which we did as bands. We always would band up and buddy with someone else to progress the idea of booking shows and helping one another. Hey, I did this. Check out these people, work with them. They're great. But I think what Jordan is doing is the right thing. He's respecting his role and he's respecting the boundaries of the others around him. And eventually, over time, and just each other, on opposite ends, polar ends of the relationship, I think you can start to bridge a gap between that, so that's not just so business-like, and it can become a bit of both. But it's interesting because I'm thinking about. I took a note on this because something I'm currently doing is checking out hospitals to intern as a dietetic intern, and something I want to convey in a personal statement that I have to write is that because I'll be on the same level as these other interns, is that I do want to build a relationship with the other interns because we are coming into this together. And that's, if Jordan came in as talent, I'm sure he would be, because he is that kind of person as well, to want to develop those relationships. But I also, down the road, would like to develop relationships with the people already in the positions and other positions that I would want to work with and have as contemporaries or peers.
Well, that's one of the things that you're really good at too, naturally, is when you meet people, I don't think you ever approach it from just like the businessy standpoint. I always see you connecting with people and asking questions to really make people feel comfortable around you, you know, and willing to open up and willing to talk more about what they're doing and why they're doing it. And I think that's great. I think you should put that as part of your goals in searching for the right hospital, you know.
I agree with that for Justin, and I think I've done that as well. Look, I've made it, for me, it was very intentional to make sure, especially everyone on the office side, whether it's the guy who does PR that doesn't, live in Baltimore, and et cetera, down the line. But even all the talent, I made it a priority to make sure that I went up and introduced myself and began a relationship. And I'm warm, and I ask how they're doing, and I try to get a feel for who they are. But it's not because, hey, I want to now go get a drink with you after the show.
Right.
I think it's interesting that Matt is currently working on a project with, did Finn start out as a friend, or he's a business associate of sorts and then became a good friend?
Finn and I started as, it was kind of both. I mean, like when we first met, we met online. He sent me an email. Hey, I want to meet you. I want to tell you about this thing I'm doing. Then we met and we became fast friends. And then through working together, like when I was in Seattle to do the first Creative Live class, like we went out to dinner, we would have breakfast together, he would drive me around. So we had a lot of time one-on-one.
You
where
developed
we just
a really
got to
good rapport.
hang out and like talk about our personal lives a little bit. And then, just over the years, we just kept like growing as friends. So now, I would consider him to be one of my closest friends. Maybe not in the sense that we see each other all the time, but we talk probably every day. And we can weave between talking strictly about business, or we'll call each other when we really need advice or really need to vent, or just kind of shoot the shit and joke around.
It sounds similar to like our relationship now.
Yeah, for sure. I think all of us developed, and that's what's cool about our relationship, is that we were all friends first and then developed these business sort of offshoots from it. But I'd like to, I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's on my mind because of that class and the course that Finn and I just shot, because we were talking about the best ways to build a network. And, a lot of times I think people go into trying to build a network,
forcing
it and making the sale too soon, or being too business and not open to really just getting to know each other. And I was just kind of trying to understand what the picture is like for you in those settings when you are out there and you are working with the talent. If they're ever like, oh man, like you're a cool dude, like a lot about wrestling too, like, hey, like here's my number, let's hang out and grab coffee, or just keep in touch. I don't know if that kind of stuff ever happens, and if so, would you foster those relationships? And to follow that up, you've sort of said to me that, like, and maybe this is a bit strong of a statement, but like you would love to be like the new Vince McMahon one day. Like, isn't that like a dream sort of, to like?
No,
you don't ever want to like produce these large wrestling events yourself, or work the way up the channels in that sense?
I would never want the responsibility that someone like he has. No. Okay. And I wouldn't want the responsibility to fully manage a wrestling company. No.
That was Johnny Crabcake.
What was it?
Yeah, he wants to be the Vince McMahon of something. I think that was him, not Jordan.
That was John on the podcast.
But I feel like we've talked about like the production side of things, and like,
Look, I'm happy, and I think my role there is unique in that I am working in tandem with really every facet of the business. So, for instance, we're shooting commercials for a new service that we're launching soon. So last week I was leading a conversation with our whole production team. I coordinate with our PR person and the person on site to coordinate press coming with the talent. Obviously, I'm working in the front office with upper management, and I work with the head of creative as well weekly. So the role allows me to be contributing to all these different aspects. And hell yeah, I want more responsibility, and I'm really grateful that in many ways they've given me rope to treat my role as someone as an entrepreneur with respect to creating new initiatives and finding new ways to run our business and execute on the business. That's awesome. That's great. And clearly that's more natural for me because this is the first time I've ever worked with the company. Mm-hmm. Everything, whether it's been a band or this podcast or specifically Beatwell, it's been my thing to grow. And Beatwell will continue to be my thing to grow. Alongside doing this wrestling thing. But the wrestling thing, that's an operation, that's production, that's TV, I wouldn't want to be in charge of that.
Right. That's good to know.
I brought up Finn because I am now very conscious of thinking about, I'm trying to think of the way to put it, but I guess it's to me, networking in the sense of building relationships with other people who I don't know, or even just presenting myself to people who I don't know, it comes easy. And I think for our listeners, this is something that people struggle with, is how do I form the relationship? When do I ask to start to build more than for what we're speaking of? Jordan has more practice with this, and I think it's easier. But for a lot of people, they're not sure when to take the opportunity or to take the chance to build a relationship within business. And I've been thinking about it since you've made it, Matt's made it something that is now, I'm very aware of it when I go to just a coffee shop, because that's what you referenced. And so even though it's something I naturally would already do, I'm even more aware of making more of a conversation and asking them how their day is and how things are going. But there's really no ulterior motive.
No, and that's something that a lot of people misconstrued in that video that I posted. There were a lot of comments, especially from people that I'm very surprised about making the comments that they made, like professionals that should not be saying the things they said, in my opinion. People were commenting like, yeah, it's really nice that you want to have a conversation with a barista, but we're in line waiting behind you, so can you please shut the fuck up and get out of the way? It's like, okay, I'm not necessarily suggesting that you should stand there and have a conversation while other people are waiting behind you. That's not what I said. What I was trying to get across was, don't just look at this person in front of you as something that like does a job for you and that's it. Like, it's not a fucking tool and it's not a machine. It's a human being. So when you go up to the counter, instead of saying, give me this coffee, and not acknowledging that they're a human being with a life and a story and feelings, simply just say, hi, how are you? Because they're a person and you want to ask them how their day is. And, I think the bigger picture point that I was trying to get across is that we get so used to those kinds of social situations where we don't think about the person. We just are there for the coffee or whatever it is. And that's what I was trying to get across. Like, not like, completely be rude to the people waiting in line behind you and waste their time and take forever to ask this person about their day. But like, just look for the opportunities to where you can just engage with someone while they're already doing what they're going to do for you anyway.
And the conversation can happen as quickly as while they're ringing it up for you.
That's my point.
It doesn't take much. And it's interesting because I've been using my phone to order my coffee a lot of times, and I'll just, I go in, I don't have to wait in the line, I can just pick it up and go. But I still make a point to just thank the people and look at whoever's standing closest by and say, hey, how's it going? How's your day going? Hey, happy holidays, anything. And that's because that's like within my heart that I just enjoy doing that. But if this is something you struggle with, then push yourself out of your comfort zone. And this is a really easy way to do like one and done.
Right.
Hey, how are you? Great. Happy holidays. See you later. And you can feel really good about what you just accomplished, and then you can build on that as you go. Just like what we talked about with Jordan. He can start off and have a certain rapport, businessy, and eventually build it into more. It all just takes time.
100%. That and that is the point that I was trying to make. It's so obvious too what it can mean to the other person.
Sure.
I was at Whole Foods before Finn came into town this week. I was just grabbing some stuff to have at the house because I know we were going to be filming a lot, and I got some snacks. And I was at the prepared foods counter, and there was a woman behind the counter who was serving me. And I could have just stood there and just been like, I want this, I want this, I want this. But while she was serving me, like, we had a little conversation, and it didn't take away from what she was doing. She didn't stop her work to talk to me and then, get me the salad that I was ordering and the sandwich I was ordering. It was just during, that time that we had together while she was, quote unquote, serving me. It was just a nice exchange of like, hey, how are you? Are you having a good holiday so far? Do you get to see your family? She was like, yeah, and the weather's been so crazy and yada, yada, yada. And it lit her up because I watched other people in front of me just be like, I want this, and they're just looking at their phones the whole time, and I can't tell you, I'm sure that happens constantly. One more thing. I don't understand, and maybe it's not for me to understand or complain about, but I posted that video to spread positivity, and there are people who could just not say anything instead of saying the things that they said. And again, there's people that I know personally who posted on that video on Instagram saying shit that I just can't believe, like, that's their mentality of like, fuck you, get out of my way. Like, fuck you then. Like, if you're not gonna consider other people and look at someone else in your life or in the same space you're in and acknowledge them as a person and say, like, I want to make sure this person has a good day. Instead, I don't know.
These social platforms, I think it's easy to start to highlight flaws.
I'm talking
in other
about people though that are successful, wealthy individuals who have networks of their own. And I don't want to say names, but if you're listening, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And there's people that know exactly who I'm talking about, who I just think it's really fucking shitty that you would put yourself out there that way, first off, and secondly, that's your mindset. It's obvious that you're an unhappy person if you look at a situation like that and want to just pull people down negatively. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I need to tell you this, Matt, but one, as long as you know what your intentions are and they feel pure, then that's all that matters, because you can just execute, your intention with the universe. Second to that, as you said and alluded to, these people aren't saying anything about you as a person. All they're doing is revealing themselves and their truth. And like, that's on them, and mazel tov for that. And Merry Christmas as well.
And you get to make that executive decision. You can always say,
Sure.
You know what? Whoa, I didn't realize these people were like that. And people are very good at hiding behind these pieces of technology of like, oh, let me reveal my own self because there's really no consequence. Well, motherfucker, there is a consequence. And like, you can choose to not do anything with these people anymore, or you can at least call them out. If you want to still have a relationship with people like that and you see this in your life, and I think this is like to the bigger point of people will see this on their social platforms. You might post the best thing ever to you, and it seems so light and heartwarming and all these great things, and then people shit on it, and it's like, wow. You can have empathy for these people, but you can also like call them out for it.
They can shit on me all they want. I don't care about that. Like, they can make fun of me for putting myself out there. They can make fun of whatever they want in the video, but don't like poo-poo on the act of kindness and the intention behind it to try to get people that aren't really comfortable with putting themselves out there, who may need to for their lives or their jobs. Like, don't shit on the intention to help those people, right?
Right.
I think that's shitty. It's like, I don't know.
I think we're all on the same page that we would all recognize that as being shitty, that it's ridiculous not to take a few seconds out of your day to maybe brighten someone else's who may not be receiving the same kind of rapport with others. And I actually, it's funny because in using the app on my phone to order a coffee, I feel like I'm dissociating. What are the word is?
Dissociating?
Yeah, I don't know why it came out so flubbed. From actually having the conversation, but then it heightens my awareness to actually go ahead and say, hey, I feel super antisocial ordering my coffee this way. So I just wanted to take a second to say, hey, how are you? And
or thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
Isn't it weird that when we flub words, like our immediate verbal response is like blah, 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 blah.
Disassociating is what you meant to say.
Disassociating.
Kevin the drummer did that too on this podcast.
I always think of Joe Rogan will say something on the podcast and he'll like mix two words together and then just start cracking up laughing how he flubbed it and how it's like, what the fuck did I just do here?
Words are funny, man. I want to give a very micro example of what we were talking about as far as just, I mean, it comes down to one, being present with yourself and the person you're interacting with. And then, deploying like just connection and empathy. And at the pay-per-view in New York, it's one of the female wrestlers. The name is irrelevant. I was coordinating with her to get her portraits done. And in that moment in time, I was definitely more stressed and busy than I would have preferred to be. And as I'm coordinating with her, it's like, hey, how you doing? And she said like, good, how are you? And I started going on to the next thing and I caught myself and I looked at her and actually created eye contact. And I took a breath and I said, I'm good, thanks. And I felt a shift in the way that her and I connected in that moment as human beings. And it felt more pure and present. And the way that she responded to that, she didn't say like anything, but just from her facial expressions, I felt that she appreciated that I kind of pulled us into a more authentic experience instead of this rote, mindless, unconscious, just getting through, what needed to get done. It was pure connection, and it was a second or two, but for me, I actually felt a difference, and that was, and I think what you're getting to in your video, Matt, is you're asking people to try these micro experiences. And I think the intention or the goal is for people to start feeling something different, a different feeling of connection with someone else, a different feeling of joy, perhaps, of feeling validated and validated by another person in an experience.
It's that, and then it's also for the people that aren't used to putting themselves out there that way. If you can put yourself out there for the purpose of maybe allowing someone else to feel positive or validated, and you feel a stronger connection to that person, then you're going to feel better, much more so, about putting yourself out there, and it becomes addictive and you want to do it more, and then it just starts to become natural.
Yep.
And I don't know, it bummed me out that a lot of people saw this as like, one, it's like, well, I'm using other people to practice on so that I can get better at putting myself out there. It's like, no, that's not what you're doing. First off, I'm not saying like use people in your life to practice on them so you can better yourself when there's an opportunity. I'm more so saying what I just expressed, which is
you're teaching
like,
people to give before they ask.
Yeah, give before you ask, and just if you can simply like just treat someone else like a fucking human.
Yeah.
Even in these scenarios where we're not used to doing that because they're serving or they're providing something for us, then if you are really good at talking with people already, then you're just creating more positivity in the day. And if you're not really good at talking to people already, then it is a great micro experience to have, again, because the more you do it, the more you feel better about it, the more someone else feels good about the interaction, and then it becomes a natural thing because there's nothing better than creating a positive vibe or positive feeling between you and another person. And
as simple as it may sound to us or seem to us, as people who actually do this and have been doing this on a daily basis for years, decades, I'm sure there are people who are 10 or 15 years younger than us who may hear this, who grew up in a different world where there was always the internet, there were always cell phones, and the connection wasn't personal. It was personal, but through a device. This is going to sound, maybe doesn't sound new, But I think it's going to be a harder learning curve because you don't get it. This became natural to us because we were always presented this way. These opportunities were always there, and so the more that we did it, the easier it became. And so for us, when it came time to starting a business and eventually asking for something in return for the business, we knew to give and to still keep it personal and keep it human. But I think there's going to be a younger generation who missed out on some of the opportunities and luxuries that we experience who need to hear this. And the more often they hear it from someone in a higher position, the better, or from anyone in general. But to hear it from the people that maybe they respect and look up to and can say, whoa, this is how they did it, that's the blueprint, maybe I need to do it. And I think to Jordan's point, I'm sure that made your relationship with the person you were working with that much better and more authentic. And you guys felt like, and maybe she felt like, well, now I can really open up or trust him a bit more because it's not so business. It is a little more personal now.
I think so too. And I wouldn't even say business or personal or like business or friendship. I'd say it's just like human or not.
Human.
Well, right.
Agreed.
Because
That's it.
whether it's a business relationship or a friendship, like at the end of the day, we're all human beings connecting with each other at different levels.
Yeah, you can always choose the positive or the road to go down where it creates a good feeling for whoever's involved in the conversation or in the transaction or in the experience.
And that's always in our control. We can't, people are where they are, but it's always in our control of how much of ourselves we're able to give or willing to give in an interaction.
Yeah. And, it's so awesome when you do find yourself in a place where people are purposefully putting themselves out there. And you, Jordan, you were asking me about when I was in Florida last week. That was an example of a whole group of people coming together because not only did they want to interact with each other, but they wanted to learn.
What was it,
together.
a conference?
It was, so I was in Florida for two different reasons, but what I'm referring to was, so I went down there for the URM Academy, which is the company that Finn McKenzie works for. So the URM Academy stands for Unstoppable Recording Machine. Their business or their subscription service is called Nail the Mix, where a band or a producer shares these stems of a song or a mix of a song with all the subscribers. They get a chance to mix it for a certain period of time, and then that actual producer who produced or mixed that song comes on and does this live mix of it. And it's like this. It's a really great educational platform for music producers. So what was going on in Florida was their first summit, where they put out there that people from all over the world can come and meet with each other and then be in person and learn from other producers that were there, learn from speakers, and just have a great experience together. I mean, that's what you all come together and you do this big in-person thing. So Finn invited me down to speak alongside him to present a course on marketing for producers. So teaching this group that was there how they could better market themselves and set better goals, strategies, and tactics for themselves, so they can potentially achieve the career or the success that they're looking for. But again, the coolest part about the whole thing was just that everyone who was there was open to meeting one another. Everyone who was there was willing to listen and share at the same time. And when you have a situation like that, you see these kinds of interactions that we're talking about on such a larger scale, and there wasn't one iota of negativity. And that's the point. If more people would just be open to having a positive interaction, even if it's not at a summit or something like this, but as we're discussing in your daily lives, you'd be amazed at how much better you feel in general, instead of just staying in your head. I'm not saying it's negative. It's not like hopefully people aren't purposely being rude to one another, but I think it's enriching to create positivity any chance you can. And that's all I was really trying to say.
I think a very simple model that sometimes I'll go back to, and it's very reductionist, but I think purposefully, is at all moments, whether it's within ourselves or connecting with other people or the world at large, we're either operating primarily out of love or out of fear. And there's many times throughout my day that I'll just have this mental check within myself, love or fear. And then I can be aware and conscious of, let me choose love. And what does that feel and look like? How is that expressed? And that's just a very simple tool that I've used for 10 plus years now when I first heard about it. And that kind of helps check me at times throughout my day. And then eventually, the more I check myself, I end up choosing love more often than not, because that ends up becoming the habit.
And, I want to go back to what I said 10 or 15 minutes ago, where I got a little heated about a specific person who made a specific comment, and I created some negativity in my response. And that's just like a reaction to being annoyed, but that's not actually how I feel. And I want to apologize for what I said, because I don't want that person to feel that negativity. In fact, it's like I can empathize with why they're saying it, and I can empathize with misconstruing my statement maybe and reading it the wrong way. So hopefully it's more clear now what my intentions were, and hopefully that person can look at this through that lens and maybe see it differently and understand, because I'm trying to understand them, and I don't want to be hypocritical in this by any means.
No, I think that's actually really beautiful what you just did there in that moment. While we're at that, maybe 10 episodes ago, in just a fit of passion in the moment, I said fuck Incubus, and I didn't really mean it, and I've actually thought about that, and it's like, no, I have love for Incubus. So to Incubus and all its members,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, little jingle bell.
Well, this is the season for cheer.
Yeah. So speaking of, let's pivot a bit. It is the holiday season. Anybody want to share any holiday stories? Anything you're looking forward to?
What are you guys doing for New Year's?
Matt and I discussed this the other day. Matt said he wants to dress up. Jordan,
because you didn't dress up on Halloween this year.
Exactly.
Right. I don't know what I'm doing for New Year's. Like, I mean, what are you doing for New Year's, Jordan?
Right
Jordan
now,
was going to go see Spoon.
I went to see Spoon at 9:30 Club,
However,
but nobody wanted to be a designated driver, and we're going to be responsible adults and not do that.
Of the two of you that were going.
So now we're getting to the weeds where people just don't give a fuck about what we're talking about. I have plans with Jeff Blake, and that's about it. But
Cool.
We should all do something. We were thinking maybe the Avenue in Hamden, because that is relatively close to here, and we don't want to drive and Uber, to
There's
surge
a lot of
prices.
fun stuff going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of places to go.
And they have
I-
a ball
I
drop deal too.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I propose that the six of us, Carly and I,
Me and-
Natalie, Jeff, Jordan and Jeff over here, that the six of us go do something together. And Jordan suggested Hamden. I said, dinner reservations or something, because Matt does want to dress up. And Jordan said, no, it's too formal.
Well, do you want to spend the whole night at a dinner table per se?
No, I don't need to do that. I just think it would be fun to
Definitely dress up.
Yeah,
I would like to dance.
I'd like
be
to
fun to
dance too.
dance.
Hamden dancing? I don't know.
Of course.
What's cool about Hamden is I
Streets?
think you could pretty much do whatever you want, and there's no judgment. It's kind of a cool
yeah,
place.
and
for that.
I like the idea that
You could present your
the
marketing
streets will be
ideas.
full.
Yeah, totally. The
Yeah.
streets will be full. It'll be a fun place to go.
And we should just go around and have all these micro
Practice.
experiences.
Well, I have to.
practicing connecting with other human beings.
I gotta talk to the girlfriend about it, because she has an event that night. Actually,
I haven't met her yet. I just added her on Facebook.
I
Me
saw.
too. Me too.
I saw that. Yeah.
Well, if she can come, then it'll be the five of us.
Well, no, I mean I'm going with her wherever she's got to go, but we can probably meet up later.
So backup plan, Dave and Buster's just opened by my house. And
So that could be a different kind of experience. So
it was fantastic.
what aside from
Dave
New
and
Year's-
Buster's is pretty much the Chuck E. Cheese's for people who have podcasts.
Okay, so Justin,
True.
you said something that you're really excited about, is the fact that this is your first Christmas that you're hosting.
Yeah, so Carly and I are hosting Christmas. I think there's like 16 people coming over.
Cool. So your house is done for the most part.
As of yesterday, the house is done. Yep, we had the
Congrat-
office. The office was
congratulations.
on.
Yeah,
Thank
congrats.
you. Yep, jingle it up. I got a tree. It's the most Kesha tree you could find. Gold, glitter, sparkles everywhere.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, considering the outfit that you wore to the wedding that I saw recently. Which
Sequence.
I got to give you, sequence suit. That's
Thank you.
pretty rad. Good
Appreciate
for you.
it. Jingle.
Jingle, please.
Yes, jingle, please. Thank you.
But so you're Jewish. We're all Jewish.
Yeah, my mom Jordan and I, our mom keeps pushing that I need to put a Jewish star
On the top of the tree.
somewhere
Yo,
on the
fuck
tree.
that.
And I
No.
keep telling her like no, and then Carly and I are like, yeah, like it's not like we're putting up a tree to represent anything other than like this tree is badass and it warms up the room.
Yeah,
and
but you
we
could
want to
put
keep it up.
you could put a Jewish star on top of the tree. That's
Sure.
Like, that's not-
Like I tried yesterday. We bought a red one for $1.50, and it didn't really work out until
I mean,
Carly
I could piss
fixed
my
it.
pants too, but that doesn't mean I should.
I'm not
Or
really
make you
sure
more
that
Jewish.
applies here. I don't-
Somewhat.
I'm not. Okay.
all I can tell you is let me
Is it
actually
a,
say
is it
something
like a
about this tree.
metaphor that just didn't line up?
No,
Anyway,
let me say something about this tree. This tree is flocked and has gold glitter dusted all over it. I
Cool.
went with a gold and red theme, some sparkly, some shiny, whatever ornaments. I love nutcrackers, so I had a set from I don't know when I
You
bought
do
this.
like nutcrackers. Why?
I don't know.
You've always had them
I think
in your
they're
room.
aesthetically really pleasing. I think they're cool looking.
They, to me, feel like cold and robotic
No
and like
way.
creepy.
No, I think they're badass.
they're super badass,
so
and they're a part of the tradition.
I have one of those massive nutcrackers, and it broke when Carly and I were living downtown. And
Did it break while trying to crack a nut?
no, Lauren Cashin, who Sharptooth, who was on the podcast a few episodes ago, she actually fixed it for me and said I need to come. I can come get it now.
She just confirmed that she's coming to the Jordan's second annual holiday party presented by
Lauren Cashin
1990
making-
Mariah Carey.
We might have a few
Making the world
guests
go round,
from
yeah.
the podcast there.
Yeah.
Potentially. Is
We should
Daniel,
just
is Daniel
Do an app.
coming?
Just turn the mics on.
Yeah, we should have
and
a
anyone can hop
podcast.
on.
Yeah, that'd be great. Why
We
don't we do that?
Everyone can kind of hop on. But to finish, I also bought 3 chocolate croissant based glass ornaments,
Nice.
From where?
and they sparkle from Michael's, the craft store.
The craft store. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they had waffles and pizza and everything else you could think
I've
of. But I
been-
saw croissants, so I grabbed one, and then the other day I grabbed 2 more to represent the 3 of us, and they're on the tree. And I'll post a picture in the
Yes.
Facebook group.
I
Yeah,
can't wait to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can come over and like do like a little.
get attacked by the dogs.
Yeah. Exactly. I'll leave.
We adopted another dog, by the way, of
did?
sorts. Yeah,
Congratulations.
Lexi. She's a little peeboo, and she just likes to snuggle up with everyone, lick you in the face.
You're such a dog person now.
I'm
like
such
I'm
a
a
dog
pit bull
person
person.
now.
Do you want to adopt Tyson like just for the night tonight?
No,
Okay. How about? Do you want to
why
hang
tonight?
out with Tyson? for
Wait,
the
why
night
tonight?
What do you think?
What is it? Friday
I
night?
don't know. You like dogs?
Wait, why
I
tonight?
like dogs. I don't want a dog.
He's sleeping. He doesn't even know this is going on.
He
But why
doesn't know.
tonight?
Well, I have to leave Tyson. I think with my dad tonight because I am going to like an event this evening with the lady because she's works in the event industry. It's gonna be a late event and he's gonna be alone for a while. So
What about with the cats at
well, the cats?
Nata Tattoos?
The cats are chilling. Let's not confuse people here.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So yesterday I was calling. Carly called Natalie and Matt Natalie, and then I was calling Matta Tattoo and Nata Tattoo.
Yes, but Nata Tattoo is
We're
an
sowing the
actual
weeds on this podcast. now.
company
Yeah,
that
we love.
sponsors our podcast. And-
Chocolate 25, all caps for 25% off at checkout.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, Jordan, what are you most excited about? Or wait, let me guess. You're excited about the second annual Jordan Goodman holiday
Presented
party.
by 1990 Mariah Carey.
Yeah, I don't really brand it with my last name, but sure.
Is that what you're excited about the most?
No, actually not really. Honestly, it'll be fun, but I probably won't think about it until it starts happening. In all honesty, you're talking about like what I'm looking forward to, like in the moment right now in my body, or just in the upcoming year.
What's one big? Let's do one thing that you're really looking forward to in the new year.
This podcast project. Before we started recording this audio right now, the 3 of us sat down and just took notes of all the different things that we want to execute on. I know, and especially if you've been in the Facebook group for many months now, in the past couple weeks, there's been less engagement, and that's just a byproduct of our schedules and responsibilities and not having a chance like we did today to sit down together and create clearer vision and natural momentum amongst the three of us. I think there is infinite potential in this, not only as a podcast, but as a community. And we're talking about ways to explore that. And I feel that both of you feel very strongly about putting effort into growing it. I have a lot of passion to do that as well. And I'm really excited to see what happens.
Cool. That's exciting that you are fired up about this.
Yep.
Matt,
Jingle bells.
what are you looking forward to in the new year?
I'm excited to dive in much deeper to education because a lot of the things that I'm going to be working on in 2018 really revolve around different forms of education. So, I've been really figuring out over the past year or so what I enjoy most, as far as the work that I'm doing. And I keep coming back to being able to help people through sharing, whatever that is, whatever information I know that I can share. So I'm just excited about those specific projects. That's what I'm really looking forward to, is just seeing how I'm excited to release some new stuff and see how people can benefit from it, and then learn from them what we can do better, and how we can then evolve from there into creating more educational products and so forth.
I think a lot of people can learn by just modeling you and paying attention to your behaviors, because you've always been good at trying different things in different ways. And I think it's easy for a lot of people listening to this, especially who know of this podcast because they were a fan of yours, to think, oh, well, Matt has it figured out and it's easy for him and he's great at everything. And that's just not the truth, because you haven't done these things before. You're trying to deliver newer content with newer delivery methods. And to your credit, I'm sure there's definitely fear and doubt and feelings of being unsure, unprepared, but you do it, and you're easy on yourself, and you're interested in what you said, figuring out what worked, what didn't, and then iterating from there. And to your credit, that's why you've been successful. That's part of your success, at least. And I think that's something that we all can do, whether it's something that we're going to monetize or not.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's up to me to either do it or not. So as long as I'm okay with that, then, I'm going to put myself out there, and I am okay with that. I'm okay to take a shot and try something that I feel good about, even if it fails, because if I don't do it, then nobody benefits from it. But if I do it, then hopefully someone benefits from it. So that's, even if it's me just learning, from that experience.
It's also a great lesson to hear you talk about the feedback loop process of actually putting stuff out there, getting feedback, and then making decisions based on what you're getting from the actual users or the people that are going to be benefiting from the programs. I think it's easy to come up with an idea and then to get really fixated on that idea and not want to pivot. But it's great to be able to try, and you've tried plenty of things that, plenty of businesses and ideas that launched or didn't get off the ground, or that have worked, but then it's always still a work in progress. And so checking in with the feedback loop of all of these different ideas you have and not staying so on course with what your original idea was is so important. And so I think it's going to be exciting for you next year to implement all of these new ideas and businesses and try them and figure out what's working and not work. And hopefully this helps you to check in with what makes you feel best.
Well, definitely that, but the goal, I don't think usually changes. I mean, the goal is to help people, specifically with this project that I'm talking about. So I don't, if for those that don't know, started a new project with Finn McKenty. It's part of our company, the Punk Rock MBA, which we've now officially made into a company. And we're releasing a actually 2 courses for creative people. The title of the course is called Sell It Without Selling Out. And it's a DIY marketing course for creative people. And the 2 courses, one of them is geared towards selling products. So let's say you're a photographer and you want to learn how to sell your prints, or you've started an apparel company and you want to learn how to sell merchandise. We're teaching you how to do that and market that by yourself.
It's a great title for your target audience.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, that we don't want sales or the word selling to be associated with douchiness or like the used cars salesman kind of
It's lack of integrity
vibe, right? And we're trying to teach people that through hard work and by putting in the effort, you can actually do it yourself. And when you take ownership of it like that, and when you're passionate about what you are selling or offering, there is I don't think there's any room for that kind of mentality whatsoever. Of like,
if you sell
douchiness.
people what they want in a way that feels good, then everyone wins.
Well, and if you sell people what you want, that's awesome. That's the bigger picture thing. But so we're doing it for a product, and then we have another whole separate course for if you are offering a service of some kind. So both courses, we decided to focus on specific examples. So like the product one, we modeled a fake apparel company. And then we walked through what we would do if we had an apparel company. And then we obviously explained how that can apply to other products. And then for the service one, we modeled it as if we were a graphic designer and what we would do if we wanted to offer our services to more and more people.
That's a cool model.
Yeah, I think it'll really resonate with your core audience for sure.
I hope so. But the point is that we're just trying this out. We have no idea if people are going to be receptive to it. We did the best we could. There's as you said, there's totally things about it that we already are like doubting and second guessing and saying like, oh, could we have done this better? At the end of the day, though, we did the best we could in the time that we could do it, and we feel confident about the information, and that's the most important thing. I think a lot of people get caught up in like the aesthetic of certain things, and obviously that matters over time, to really hone your aesthetic with a business or a product, or even us with this podcast. Like we're still kind of rough. Like we started rough, we've gotten better, but it's still kind of rough. Now we're working on making it less rough, and we're making iterations over time. But the core content hopefully has value, and that's kind of what we're teaching, and it's also what we are trying to exude ourselves through this whole experience. So when you talk about the feedback loop, we expect people to tell us certain things that they don't like about it, certain things that can be improved upon, and we're okay with that. I think what we really spent the most time on was the value of the content, and if that is going to resonate with people. And that's what Finn and I both feel the most confident in, which is why when you talk about putting ourselves out there and trying shit, I'd rather go for it than not, because I do believe that the content is valuable. If we didn't, then we wouldn't release it, and I wouldn't feel comfortable putting something out there, and I think we all feel that way about our respective work. Good
for you, man. Jingles for that.
Yeah, jingles for that.
Bells.
Yeah, you and Finn, I think, are 2 really authentic guys who authentically, and wholeheartedly really want to help people. So I think the 2 of you, knowing the 2 of you personally, you would put the work and effort into making sure it was something that you would want to release. And then, look, it's not going to be perfect. And I just think of like practice makes some progress, right? So
totally,
you put this out there and you let people try to, benefit from it. And I'm sure even if it doesn't take off to be some kind of like successful portion of business to add to your portfolio, it'll help somebody. And that's Absolutely. What's most important.
And you'll get better for doing it.
Absolutely.
Justin, what are you energized about for 2018?
What are you jazzed up about?
I'm currently energized.
What are you pumped the fuck up for?
What are you psyched about?
What was that last one?
Psyched.
You do have a unique vocabulary.
This is not mine. I have to credit Alex Rudinger for this.
Where'd you get stumped from? Shtuk?
Like you got shtuked?
No.
Matt's talking about having sex.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
I wasn't talking about stupping someone. I was saying like, what did I say? I don't even remember
It
the
was
context.
in the context of me having sex with someone.
Whoa.
I didn't say
Shtupped.
shtuk. I said, so you shtupped X person. How was
What's
that?
that from? Is that like Yiddish?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like Yiddish. Jordan's been shtupping left and right.
Merry Christmas,
No,
guys.
whoa,
Merry
hey
Christmas.
now.
It's like, I don't know if he has. I
So,
honestly
sorry,
have no
Tyson
Justin,
idea.
got
what are you
excited.
stucked about
I'm
for
currently
2018?
stoked about and psyched about a few things. So I've been checking out some hospitals for some dietetic internships that I'm going to take part in next year, hopefully. I'm excited to put a lot of what I've learned from this podcast of storytelling and trying to be as clear and concise as possible and non-tangential into personal statements to convey the right story as to how to get exactly what I want. And ultimately, my number one is to be at Johns Hopkins, as I think they're the most progressive. And when I think of people in respective fields that I would want to be associated with or close to, Hopkins is the place I think of. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And I am now pretty stooped up about this podcast. I was glad that we sat down before we did the podcast today and laid out some clear goals for each of us of what we need to be working on to take this to maybe not the next level, but to start it going in that direction. Because I do want to see this keep evolving, and I want to see us grow the team, and I want to see us hitting more marks than what we're currently hitting. So yeah, I'm pretty stooped up right now, guys, and stooped up again.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm all
And with that said, as we're
again.
shutting this down, just like endless thanks to both Jeff Lang and Joe Hamilton for their contributions. They've been very productive and just really an integral part to the process of Chocolate Croissants as a weekly project behind the scenes. They've never asked for anything in return. They just offered pure generosity because they believe in what we're doing. So thank you.
And because they've never asked, we're sending him to Disney World.
Yeah.
Woo!
all stooped up.
Actually, sorry guys, but we don't have the budget for that. But maybe one day.
We are going to try to send you something for the holidays.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
working on something.
Well, we hope that all of you listeners out there are excited for the holidays and that you have something that you're looking forward to in the new year as well, whether that is a big project or a small tweak within yourself. Try to find something that you can improve upon as we get into 2018, because it'll probably make you feel really good.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear about it, and you can join the Facebook group.
Facebook.com/groups/chocolate croissants. We are intentionally going to be a bit more consistent and active in there starting into the new year. Because at the end of the day, we are leading community, and we've noticed that the more that we lead and engage, then the more we empower others to do the same as well, and that is our responsibility. And for anyone who has been in the group, for anyone who has engaged in the group over the past, I guess maybe 9 months now, thank you so much, because that in return inspires us to continue with this project. I guess we are in the outro of episode 38.
Yep.
You know what I just realized?
Oh my God.
The song I was singing, it's Buck Cherry.
That's great.
So there you go.
Do you want to just let people know how they can help further by rating, reviewing,
Yeah,
all that
so
good
the
stuff?
podcast app, or whatever you're using, search Chocolate Croissants. Subscribing, that helps us, and it also can help you by not having to think about downloading these episodes every Monday morning-ish. Sometimes we put them up Sunday night. If you're connected to your Wi-Fi, it automatically downloads. That way, if you're listening on your commute to work or in the gym or wherever you may be, you don't have to use your data to listen. Beyond that, rating, reviewing, that all helps. What we are going to do in the next couple weeks is come up with some sort of incentive to try to hit some, I guess watermark might be the term.
Milestones.
Milestones, kidney stones. I had a kidney stone once. That was very painful.
Let's not talk about
So go back to our feedback loop. It would be wonderful if you could hop onto iTunes or whatever podcast app you're using and rate and review the show, because that helps us in ways that we don't even understand. But we're thinking of some kind of milestone within the iTunes review and ratings section. And once we hit a certain amount, we're going to do a giveaway.
And, you know, if you don't do it for us or yourselves, just do it for Tyson.
The DD man has been very good this episode.
No barking, not even any nails really scraping on the ground. He's been asleep this whole time. He needs some rest. Well, I think that about covers it. It's been great to be back with you two lovely Jewish gentlemen. I hope you had a fantastic Hanukkah. I hope you guys have a great Christmas. And I hope that New Year's brings you everything that you are hoping for.
Yeah, and we'll be back on New Year's Day with episode 39.
Woo!
Who's the guest for episode 39, Jordan?
We don't know. It may be everyone at Jordan's second annual holiday party presented by 1990 Mariah Carey.
That's not a bad idea.
I think we should have 1990 Mariah Carey. But hey, that said, Jordan, take us out of here.
One more time, endless love, gratitude, and respect for your attention today and every day before this day and every day after this day. I already feel this going off the rails. Justin's finger is going up. Let's just go home. Once again, Incubus, I am so sorry.
Watermark.
And we
Until
hope you're
next
feeling
time,
that emotion.
If you have a kidney stone actively, I have feel bad for you, but drink a lot of water, even grape or cranberry juice. Cranberry juice is the way to go if you have a kidney stone. This is actually professional medical advice. No, it's not. Until next time, bye-bye.